Organize on the internet, organize on social media, get the facts out there. And when politicians wade through the rising seas and say, don't even mention the phrase climate change, call them to task on that. Impose a political price for that. And get with the movement to build a bright future.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Al Gore. And the reason we rear his ugly head is because there's some talk now that Al Gore should be looking to replace the wounded Hillary Clinton in the Democratic presidential process. Joining us now is Daniel Halper, online editor of the Weekly Standard, author of Clinton, Inc., The Audacious Rebuilding of a Political Machine. Hello, Daniel. So how serious is this Al Gore push?
Well, it's still nascent, I'd say, but it's getting a little more serious. I think it touches at a nerve, and it touches at the fact that Hillary Clinton's poll numbers, as a Reuters poll shows today, have dropped 15 points in the last couple weeks. That's a huge, huge gap. Democrats are looking around, be it Al Gore or somebody else. There is definitely a void on the left, to the left of Hillary Clinton, that people are looking for it to be filled. Al Gore himself is going to Iowa next month. Again, let me be clear, he's not, he hasn't indicated that he wants to run. It's more a call for him to run by certain people, and certainly a look to see who can run, if not Hillary Clinton. And
you mentioned he's going to Iowa. Is he a willing participant in this speculation? I mean, do you think that has he shown any public signs through statements or actions?
Well, he just gave a lengthy interview and a profile to the New York Times. I think that's perhaps an indication that maybe he's willing to toy with it and certainly take a larger profile right now. He hasn't said anything of the sort that he wants to run or that he's looking at, or he hasn't even been asked it, as far as I can tell. But it's not really about Gore per se. It's more about the need for somebody else to run that Democrats are feeling. Paul Begala the other day, he said that he would like Hillary Clinton to have a challenger. You know, so even Clinton supporters think that she'd be stronger with a challenger, and certainly there are plenty of Clinton detractors in the Democratic Party who are looking for an alternative to just another Clinton, and especially Hillary, who comes in already damaged, and the primary hasn't even kicked off.
Let's talk a little bit about a piece that you have up at the Weekly Standard, which I think is linked on the Drudge Report, how Senator Chuck Grassley has once again followed up his first two correspondence from 2013, writing the State Department to ask for information on Hillary's, I don't know what you'd call her, personal assistant, Huma Abedin, Anthony Weiner's wife, former congressman who had a sexting problem. You know, she had a special status in the State Department, and she also worked outside the government at the same time. So what's that all about, and how forthcoming do you think State will be?
Well, they haven't been. Chuck Grassley, the senator, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, he's been at this for over a year and a half. He's been asking the State Department what went on with Huma Abedin. And what we know is basically this. There's a special government status for certain employees to help them come into the government. So if you're, let's say, a high-profile person and they want you to come in to temporarily do something, they might not make you cut all your ties, and instead they sort of grant you a special government status to allow you to continue some contracts outside of the government, but there's high scrutiny, and these things are very, very rare. One example, and I don't know for sure that he had this, but this is the kind of person that would get this, somebody like the Ebola czar, where you're bringing him in for a couple months and it's a specific task, and you kind of don't necessarily want him to have to throw up his whole life in order to do this particular task, and he stays in, then he goes. So Huma had it on the going out of the State Department. So she had been in the State Department employee for a couple of years, and then she got special government status to get work at a consulting firm that does global affairs and political intelligence worldwide. And she was able to get contracts with them and with other people while she was a State Department employee.
Unbelievable.
That's the wrong use of this special.
No wonder
it's really confusing, but it's also...
No, I was going to say, no wonder Weiner doesn't have to work.
Yeah, exactly. She's making all the money, and it's kind of like a long story and a little confusing. But basically, she got a special status that very few people get, and for the wrong purpose.
Yep.
To get additional income in addition to her State Department income.
Yep. It seems to run in the Clinton State Department, doesn't it? From the top right down to the next most important, who might be Uma Abedin. And we hopefully will get to the bottom of that. Daniel, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right, folks, Daniel Halper. When we come back, the associate editor of HotAir.com, our friend Noah Rothman, with the latest from Hot Air. Don't go away. Newsmax Television.